we're back to the work-life balance on this Friday afternoon. We're talking with Alan David Reed and Tahnee Wolf, who are co-founders, co-creators of the 10 Terrains of Consciousness. If you go to 10terrains.com/quiz, you can actually find out what terrain you're in and download some material. And on request, I did that prior to the show. We found out, the common thing, and I think in most humans is, did I get a high score? Did I score well? But I ended up in Diamond at the mastery phase of that, which I found out isn't that rare. It's pretty common at this point.
Well, I'd like to probably just step back and say that one thing to know about the 10 terrains is there is no score. These aren't levels. This isn't something like you're trying to get to some place. You actually already are an infinite being. I'll just say that for the record. And so you've got as many lifetimes as you need to do what you need to learn. And so you're where you're at for a reason. You're sitting at one of these terrains because there's a lot of learning there. There's a lot of service to give back from there. There's challenges to learn about yourself. It's about knowing yourself. And so really we learn about ourselves by coming in and living in any of these terrains throughout lifetimes, literally. And so there is nothing wrong with being at any point, because you actually have a lot to offer there.
To me, I felt like this does have levels that it's not necessarily a reward level, but it is a growth level, right? So you're graduating across your continuum as it's been laid out, as almost as a visual of how aware you are. And, I'm a big fan of Carl Jung and some of those, unless you make the subconscious conscious, it'll rule your life and you will call it fate. And I think there's a lot of us that are understanding that portion. But to me, it is a leveling up. It is a graduation up. Is that fair to say?
That's definitely the perspective from Diamond. If someone's looking at this model from Diamond, they will see that it's about growth and expansion, that each ring is a progressive expansion. Depending on which terrain you're at is how you'll see this. So that's why it's a hard thing to answer. But the main thing we want to get across is that there's no judgment in it. It's not that one is better than the other or one is worse than the other. You could see it as they're progressively more expanded. It's almost like, if you think of it, a spaceship. It's on the ground, and when it's on the ground, all it sees is the trees in front of it. As it goes up a little bit higher, it sees more. It sees the village, and then it goes up higher. It sees the forest and the ocean. Then it goes up higher, and it goes past the stratosphere, and it sees the whole globe. And at each iteration, it's got a larger perspective. But the ship's not better because it's at 2,000 feet than it's at 1,000 feet. It's just has a broader view. So really, these are more just expanded perceptions, progressively more expanded perceptions. And the thing is, from the reflection-based terrain Diamond, which is so much focusing on growth and expansion, it seems like the goal is to get to infinity, and we should all grow and learn and become as most expanded as we possibly can. But actually, there's another perspective here, which is that really each terrain has something very profound to offer the world. And there are things that people contribute at each terrain when put together as a collective tapestry, all fit together for the highest good of all. So that's just another way to see it. And also that sometimes it's actually not easier to be at the more expanded terrains, because someone at infinity, that really enlightened terrain, they're doing constant work to stay neutral and to stay surrendered and to not take anything on and to not take anything personally. Like it's not necessarily an easy job to be at that place in your journey. Like you're having to 100% own that you create your reality in every possible way. So it might sound like it's a great place to be, but it's not necessarily any better than where you are now. So that's one of the things we're always emphasizing, like really learn about where you're at now and really master the lessons of this terrain and the things that you're here to offer the world at this terrain. And when it's the right time, when your own higher self is ready, when you've completed that learning, you may shift to the next terrain. And that will be another adventure that will then begin with huge amounts of learning and growth in it. And some people are really here to grow and learn in their life. That's their purpose for being on the planet. And they may shift terrain once, twice, even 3 times, maybe more in their life. And other people are actually here to really go deeply into one terrain and really master that. Like think of someone like Abraham Lincoln. He was at Square, he's ended slavery from that terrain. Like only someone who spent their life at Square could do that job, because it's happening in reaction to pyramid and the exploitation and inequality of pyramid, and all about institutionalizing equality and making equality widespread and systematizing equality. Like that has to happen at that terrain. So you can see that depending on your purpose in life, you may need to stay at a terrain for a long time, or you may be someone who's here to really shift. The most important thing is to just be really compassionate with yourself and accept your own journey and just enjoy your own journey and appreciate the lessons that you're being given at any time.